Hi, I'm John DeVore. Welcome to the channel. And welcome back to Monkey House. I'm back. Welcome back. Thank you. It's so nice to be back. Back from the hi-fi show in Chicago, AXPONA, which was awesome. It was amazing. It was a great show. This was the first time I have done this particular hi-fi show as an exhibitor. I walked it last year. Last year I went because I was on a panel of in a presentation on speaker design. So I took that opportunity to basically walk the show and check it out. It showed so much promise. It's big, seemed really well run. And so this year, instead of doing the Munich show, I diverted the resources and did the Chicago show. Great move. Show is brilliantly run. It was very smooth. Attendance was astonishing, just fantastic. I missed Roxy. Roxy and I missed each other. Anyway, attendance was great. Hats off to Mark Freed. I know he did a lot of advertising, and he really did bring in a great audience, an awesome audience of attendees. There were more families, there were more couples, there were more children, there were more non middle aged white males than I remember seeing maybe at any American hi fi show. Certainly more than I've seen in a hi fi show in quite a while. Which is awesome to see. I mean, our industry is always wondering how we're going to attract the next generation of audiophiles to our wonderful and maybe a little bit pigeonholed hobby. Anyway, very promising, really good, a really positive vibe everywhere. Our room was packed most of the time. It was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday show. Friday was as busy as any Friday I ever remember. Saturday was the busiest day, as it always is in these shows. And Sunday was absolutely the most attended Sunday that I think I have ever been to at a hi-fi show. Normally Sundays at a hi-fi show, you get sort of an initial surge when the show opens on a Sunday of people who maybe are trying to get back to rooms that they really liked and want to spend a little bit more time in, or they're trying to check off a few rooms that they never made it to, hadn't made it to yet. And then by, 3 hours before the close of the show, it's crickets. Absolutely not this time. We actually had to ask people to leave 20 minutes after the show was technically closed already. It was wonderful. Thank you also to the folks who helped me get that room going. So, number one, thank you to Anthony of Box Furniture Co., who helped me. He co-ran the room with me. And oh my God, what a joy it is to run a hi-fi show with someone else who is not afraid of a state-of-the-art turntable and who comes bringing his own arsenal of awesome music. So thank you so much, Anthony. It was awesome. It was great. Thank you also to Micha of EMT and to Norbert of MoFi for making that sweet ass turntable. Oh my God, that was brilliant. So we used you can see it in the video that I shot I did a video of all the equipment in the room, but it was an EMT 928 turntable with an extra arm added and performed flawlessly. The whole show sounded fantastic, and we used only the entry level stereo cartridge that EMT currently makes. I'm sure there's a lot more awesomeness to come with that, and I hope to partner up with Micha again in the future at hi-fi shows. The dude is brilliant, great guy, super fucking young, terrifying. We brought Micha bowling. He had never been bowling before, being European. A few of us brought him bowling on Saturday night in Chicago, in Schaumburg, not Chicago, Schaumburg. That's where the hi-fi show took place. And After a few gutter balls, you could see the clockwork in his brain, and you could see him figuring out trajectories and strategies. And he started bowling back to back to back spares, and whatever, man. Very impressive. Thank you so much to Komoro-san. He was there for Friday and Saturday. It was wonderful to see him at a hi-fi show again. I'm pretty sure the last hi-fi show that Komoro attended would have been a New York Noise show. So I think the last one of those was 2002, if I'm not mistaken. So thank you, Komoro, for making it out. It was awesome. It was great to see you there. Thank you also to Bill Parrish, GTT Audio, for loaning me his personal demo Mola Mola preamp. Worked flawlessly the whole time. And I'm sure I was working it harder than it has ever worked before. As I spun 78 at the show as promised, and that ended up being sort of 4 or 5 sessions per day. Each session would just be, it could have been half a dozen 78s. Some of the sessions would be shorter, some of the sessions would be longer. 78s tended to pack our room. It definitely drew people in. So we posted a sign, an audiophile warning sign, on the door, warning of very high surface noise, high distortion, limited bandwidth. Certainly we did scare a few out of the room when we started playing 78s, but we drew more than that back in, and it was wonderful. People were applauding the 78s. People were trying to guess the artists, because these are artists from the first half of the 20th century. Anyway, it was just awesome. And the Mola Mola kicked ass. The EMT cartridge and that extra long tone arm kicked ass. The turntable had no problem starting and stopping at 78. Each time I had to put a new shellac on there. Brilliant. It was wonderful. And thank you to all of the attendees. It was amazing. It was awesome. Not only in quantity, but in quality. You guys rocked. It was so much fun. It was an honor and a privilege to be spinning music for you guys when you came in. You guys are so respectful. You were appreciative. So many of you came up and said hi, thanked me, congratulations for the room, all this kind of stuff. The vibe was, I was on cloud nine. It was really fantastic. You tolerated my crazy music choices, and came back for more and more and more. And one guy came up, handed me a wild vintage TDK cassette demagnetizer. I never owned one back in the day, but these were, it's a cassette mechanism with the 2 sprocket holes, and the cassette deck motors power a circuit that then demagnetizes the heads. Super cool. Can't wait to get that back here. It's on the pallet of equipment coming back from the show. Can't wait to get that back here and mess around with it. And another attendee walked up to me and handed me a 78. It was wonderful, and I played that. It was a Billie Holiday 78, early Billie Holiday 78, like a 1940s, mid 40s 78 of Billie Holiday, which I played at the show as well. So that was wonderful. Just massively heartwarming. Thank you to everyone and anyone. And the other one of my really favorite things about hi-fi shows is just seeing all of my industry friends and going around. I gave out way too many hugs. I'm glad I didn't get arrested, but I was hugging everyone left and right and feeling it. It was fantastic. Awesome show. So thank you, Expona crew. Thank you, Casey and Mark, for running such a brilliant show. And that said, it is great to be back in New York City. Brooklyn is my home, man. I mean, so I was not born in New York City. In fact, I was born in Chicago. But I have lived in New York City for longer, far longer than I have lived anywhere else in my life. And even as a little kid, I knew that I was going to move to New York after college and live here. And sure enough, I did. Sure enough, I was right. It's the city for me. I feel most at home. I've been to 6 continents. Australia, I'm coming for you. You're my last continent. I'm going to get there. And I've been to really magical places. Places where I would love to live. Beautiful, beautiful places where I felt comfortable and inspired. But New York is it more than anything else. I was thinking about it on my walk to work today. I think I've said this before. My walk, I commute to work from home to work. I commute by foot most days. Every day that I can, I walk it, and it's a little less than 3 miles, and it's through Brooklyn. And I pass by, if I so choose, route-wise, I can pass by a botanic garden and 3 or 4 beautiful parks on my route, or I can choose to walk through a purely urban lane, or there's any number of ways. Sort of, it's like Brooklyn and really New York City in general. I feel like if my commute is a pachinko board, pachinko is that thing. It's like pre-pinball, so it's a board with a whole grid, a matrix of pins, and you drop a ball from the top, and it bounces through an infinite number of optional paths, and then it gets down to its goal. So at the top is my home, and at the bottom is my factory. And my commute can trace any number of different paths, and they're all wonderful and rewarding. Sometimes I'll walk paths specifically to see if I can spot some really cool old cars parked. Sometimes I'll travel a path in hopes to have a little bit of peace and quiet and a meditative commute. Sometimes I need to run an errand on my way in or pick up lunch on my way in. And there are numerous stores, delis, supermarkets, all walkable, pharmacies if I need to pick something up. I mean, I'm spoiled and I love it. I love it. There's nothing else like it for me. And it's one of the things that I appreciate the most when I return to New York City from another place. So, for example, in Schaumburg, Illinois, outside of Chicago, where the convention center is for this hi-fi show, Komoro and I finished up the day. I'm pretty sure it was Friday. Komoro had just flown in that day, was pretty tired, and I thought, instead of trying to figure out something to do and traveling into town to find a good restaurant, I knew there was a place that had good Chicago deep dish pizza really close by, under less than a mile away. And for 2 New Yorkers, that's an easy walk. So I opened it in Google Maps. There it was. I could see Moretti's, I think it was called, Moretti's, and I could see Schaumburg Convention Center. And I was like, super close. Let's just walk. It's that direction. So there we were walking. Then we had to go around one thing, and then we had to go around another, and then there was this huge fenced-off apartment complex with an impassable fence and no paths through it. And then we got bumped over to a huge concrete wall, painted this incredibly eye-searingly bland sort of sand drab color, and that was sort of covering over a road, and no roads have sidewalks. And I realized, so then I went back to Google Maps, and then I asked for directions on foot, and it directed me in the opposite direction around a huge loop back practically to our hotel, and then out along a roadway. And so for that under a mile walk, it was going to be a 2-point-something mile walk. So it was basically, Komoro and I were experiencing what happens when you don't design a living place around humans, around human individuals, and you force upon them cars. You have to get around by car in this place. My hotel and the convention center were very close, and it was a walk. but there wasn't a single sidewalk between my hotel and the convention center where the show was. So it was a nice straight walk, but I was walking over grass bunkers and through parking lots and jumping down little curves and kind of shuffling through bushes. And it was a pleasant walk, and there were lots of geese to chat with on my commute. But there were no sidewalks. The streets don't have sidewalks in Schaumburg, as far as I can tell. I found the same thing when I did an event in Dallas, Texas. I did a hi-fi event years ago, and I made sure that I stayed in a hotel that was close to the dealer that I was doing the event in. And I finally did manage to find a walkable commute, but it was hairy. At one point, I was walking over a bridge that didn't have sidewalks on it in order to get over a freeway through the middle of town. LA can be like that too. It's not exactly pedestrian friendly, but it's maybe a little bit closer. It made me appreciate coming back home all the more. There's this sort of phenomenon. There's a term in architecture and like urban planning called desire path. And a desire path is when you have a garden or some sort of some series of paths that are laid out. And then over time, humans will naturally make their own path. So they may be cutting a triangle shortcut instead of taking a big right angle on a path. Or sometimes it's as simple as a prettier option. Maybe it's a better way around with a better view. Maybe it's a little bit farther away from a busy street. But for whatever reason, and you can see the desire paths over time almost become permanent. And you can see that the path is naturally much more desirable. It's the path that a human naturally wants to take from point A to point B. And I feel like New York, in a sense, was designed to embrace desire paths. I feel like there's myriad, almost an infinite number of ways that I can get from my house to the Brooklyn Navy Yard. And when I lived in the city, I could still commute. I would commute over all of the bridges over the East River near my house. So the Brooklyn Bridge, the Williamsburg Bridge, and the Manhattan Bridge all have pedestrian paths over them. So I could commute to work. Again, it was just under 3 miles, and I could commute to work from Lower Manhattan over a bridge, again with beautiful views left and right, and get to the Navy Yard. For me, that is the city that I love welcoming me back home. Anyway, this is a big old ramble, and we'll see how much of this makes the final cut. But I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. It was awesome. If I saw you at Expona, it was great to see you. If you couldn't make it out, I'm sorry you missed it. We will definitely be doing the show again next year, so maybe I'll see you then. And welcome everyone else back to Monkey House. It's been a little while. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next video. Thanks. Bye.
I'm in New York, no need for words now. We sit in silence, you look me in the eye directly. You met me, I think it's Wednesday, the evening, the mess we're in, and the city sunset over me. Sunset over me.
just wanna say, don't ever change. And thank you. I don't think we will meet again. And you must leave now, before the sun rises over the skyscrapers and the city landscape comes into being. Sweat on my skin. Oh, this mess we're